It's definitely convenient having more than one passport. And if that's your goal, I'm going to tell you everything you need to reach it, as well as share some things that'll help you save a lot of headaches along the way. Hey friend, my name is Aaliyah, and the goal with this channel is to help with all things Mexico. After moving to Mexico ourselves and having to figure everything out on our own, my husband and I now try to make things in Mexico sound not so foreign to foreigners who may be living in Mexico. So whether you're just visiting, passing through, or establishing roots, join the journey and let's get mixed in Mexico. Bueno, pasaportes, ¿cómo seguirlos? How do you get a Mexican passport? First and foremost, you need to be Mexican, whether naturalized through time and test or born into it via your birth or your parents. If you have that, then you're in business. What else do you need? 5 things, maybe more. Number 1, the completed OP5 application form, which I'll link below. It is all in Spanish though, be warned. Number 2, proof of your Mexicanicity. You can have any one of the following: your original or certified copy of your birth certificate, nationality certificate, Mexican naturalization letter, Mexican citizenship card, consular registration ID or certificate, as well as any old or previous Mexican passports that you have. And I will say, if you get your citizenship through your parents, you may have to bring in your naturalization letter along with your Mexican birth certificate. We personally didn't have to, but we have heard of stories of some offices requiring or requesting it, so bring it just in case. Number 3, proof of identity with a photo and a signature. It could be your INE card, any passport from any country, any government issued ID really. I put up a list of other acceptable forms of ID, but as long as it has a photo, your signature, and isn't fake, they'll accept it. The only thing that I will mention though is the names need to match if you want them to accept all your documents. So if your proof of Mexicanicity and your proof of identity, your names don't match on there, they will absolutely turn you around. So if you have an Inye on one but an N on the other, you need to fix that. They will see that as 2 different people. And it's the same as if on one of your documents it says Thomas E. Smith, but the other one just says Thomas Smith. You definitely either need a different form of ID or get that corrected so that they can accept the documents. They take this seriously. Seriously. Number 4, the payment of fees. Of course, it varies from office to office and year to year, depending on when you watch this, but it's generally around the same ballpark. In US dollars, for 1 year, it's about $40. For 3 years, it's about $90. For 6 years, it's about $120. And for 10 years, it's about $180 US dollars. Of course, it varies from office to office, so just check with your particular office ahead of time if you need the specifics on the amount. And a good thing to note though is if you're over 60 or permanently disabled, some offices will give you a 50% discount. So don't be afraid to ask. The worst they could say is no. Number 5, some offices also require a passport style photo, but this is definitely a finicky requirement because some require it and some don't. So be prepared either way, it doesn't hurt. My husband, the office that we went to, they didn't require the photo, but we had it just in case. But they took his photo at the office. We were originally though going to get his passport in Mexico at the SRE office there, and that office definitely required a photo. So I say bring it just in case, it can't hurt. And also, don't forget the copies. If you know, you know. Mexico loves copies. Bring at least 2 copies, front and back, of each of your supporting documents. If you're a minor under the age of 18, in addition to the normal requirements, you will also need to bring both of your parents into the appointment, along with their identification. Preferably their passport, but any official form of ID is fine. But again, their names must match exactly up to their identifications and your birth certificate. They will also need to fill out the OP7 application form, which is a parental consent form for you. What to expect on appointment day. At appointment day, they will check you in, sit you down, later call you back up, gather all your paperwork, look through it, verify that you have everything that you need, sit you back down, process all your paperwork, and once they're done, they'll call you back up, take your picture, get your autograph and thumbprint, and if they're a fancy schmancy office, your eye scan. You'll then pay your fees and voila, you have a Mexican passport. They usually do print the passports out right then and there, but if they don't, it could take up to 8 weeks for it to be sent to you. The benefits of having a Mexican passport is not only does it make traveling into and out of Mexico easier and faster, it's also an easy way to prove both your identity and your Mexicanicity going forward. Once we got my husband's passport, we used it to get his Mexican bank account, his INE, my residency, the list goes on and on. It's definitely worth getting if you can. Among my many headache savers for this appointment was first and foremost copies. In fact, invest in a copy machine if you're going to move to Mexico because they love copies but won't make them for you. Next, corrections. If you find that any of your documents or any of your parents' documents, your names don't match exactly, make sure you make the time to correct it ahead of time before appointment because they won't allow for any exceptions. They take it very seriously. Also, be over-prepared and get organized if you can. Maybe even bring a folder. It'll definitely help in the long run. I know for me, whatever appointment I go to for us, I make sure to have my portable folder with all the different tabs that I have. I have a tab for all the documents that they say are required. I have one for the ones that I think might be, the ones that I heard are, as well as additional documentation and many extra copies, just in case. It helps me identify all the documents that I need for easy access so that I'm not fumbling around, especially if they throw me a curveball requirement. Also, if you can, I'd maybe even email them or visit the consulate ahead of time before your appointment, just to make sure that they'll approve all your documents. It's not necessary, but it can't hurt and might help. And most importantly, smile. It's proven to decrease stress. Let me know how it goes for you. Enjoy the process. Hasta pronto, friends. See you soon. Nos vemos.